Welcome everyone, it's Glacier Guy, Rock and Glacier. As always, it is the 13th of June. We're going to talk about a little studio update we're working on hobby-wise. And we have a quick Magic the Gathering update. I actually was able to get 2 Paper Commander games in, which it's been a long time since I've actually played in paper, probably over 2 years. Probably about 2 years since I played in paper, and probably a few months since I played even online. But I played, had a coworker who recently got themselves a one of the new Precon Strixhaven decks, the Lorehold Artifacts Matters deck, and I forget what the actual name for it is, but and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll bring some decks in. And originally I had brought in my Samut Voice of Descent deck, which I was looking at some of the cards in there, and that deck is like 4 times the value in cards than when I bought it, and so I was like, Plus, there was like one really bad curling. I forget, it's like a Weatherlight Warrior. It's the foil from the cat deck from 2017. Miri, or whatever her name is. But she curled really bad, so I put her between some books, and so hopefully she'll stop curling. If not, I'll have to see if I can find a replacement for her. Because she's not super integral to the deck, but she's a pretty good combat beat stick, so she's good on online. And she kind of keeps enemies from attacking you. But I played against this individual with my Minotaur deck, which does need a little bit of upgrades. There have been some better Minotaurs that came out. I haven't really spent some time, so I think the deck was last built probably around I think it was the second or third deck I'm in around the time of Amonkhet, so that kind of shows you what cards would be in there. And I didn't get any mana. I got mana screwed pretty much the whole game, and so I needed to take a look at that deck. And I got beat. So it was like the first game we ever played, and he's looked at my decks and he's like, "Oh man, you got really good cards in a lot of these decks. I'm really scared of these." And I hadn't looked at the Strixhaven deck in a little bit. I knew it had artifact synergies, but I wasn't super sure. But no, he came in and stomped me pretty handily. It wasn't a super fast game. It was 1v1, but I think it was like turn 3, I just didn't get any lands, and then it just kept spiraling, so I was like, alright, fine, okay, let's play with my Edgar Markov deck, because I brought both with me, and I haven't played the Edgar Markov deck since 2017 Commander came out, and the deck was just constantly winning, and so I hadn't really added a lot to it since then. So it's been kind of just sitting on the shelf. And, oh man, Markov, he's strong. He's powerful. But once again, I definitely need to put some work into these decks. I need to do some upgrades. I need to do something because I'm not doing so well. I lost 2 in a row to for this person's first game of in-person Commander. They had played a little bit with some of their friends before, but this is the first time they to themselves were like, I played against somebody that I thought was a worthy opponent, and I won both times. And I was like, well, now I got to go back, and I got to dust off the old collection. I got to see what to put in these decks. And I don't even know if my Samut deck, I mean, I think in its current state, it would do pretty fine. I think it's got enough speed, but I probably should take a look at it. I was also thinking about Mono White Angels, because I have that. Mono White Angels is slow, and these artifacts are really fast. So there's just I gotta find a way to outvalue this deck. But that's on the Magic side. Modern Horizons 2, way too expensive. I'd spent so much money on Warhammer in the last couple months. I was like, I couldn't do it. I was at the hobby store picking up some rule books for Sisters of Battle. I picked up the new Sisters of Battle and the Space Marine rule book, or the Space Wolves rule book, and their decks, and I was just like. I looked over and the guy was selling set boxes for $300. I mean, set boxes online were like $275 or something like that, so it wasn't a significantly large increase in cost. And I was like, I can't do it. Even pre-release for $50, I was like, I'm not that into Modern Horizons to go buy a box to do a video that's going to get like 7 to 12 views. And Modern Horizons it's a great set. I really liked Modern Horizons 1, but Modern Horizons 1 was really well priced. It was perfectly priced. I was able to get, I think, more than a case of Modern Horizons when I ordered it. And so I feel like Modern Horizons was in an envelope of where it was affordable and it wasn't ridiculous. But Modern Horizons 2 is just way too high per cost a box. And then if you go on to like MTGO traders or any of the online Mitgo resellers for the cards, they're not that expensive. So I can always make commander decks on Mitgo. And basically the way I'm going forward with Magic is I'm buying the regular draft set boxes, like regular Kaldheim. Like I did that Kaldheim collectors and set box. That was fun. But moving forward, I'm just buying regular draft boxes at relatively low margins. Even if they don't make a whole bunch of money because of set boxes, cluster boxes, and they don't have the list or anything like that, I feel like that's the comfortable price point of putting money into it, and like I won't feel bad if I open those, and I don't feel bad if I save them and make in 5-6 years make break even. It's like, but when I buy a set box, it's so expensive, especially with the way prices are right now. And the way Magic or the way Warhammer and all these other hobbies is set boxes are just not something I want to put money into. Especially since like it's not the variants that I care about, it's just being able to play. And since I mostly only play online, and if I was making another paper commander deck, it would just be singles and I wouldn't really need the thing. So the only other reason I do is unboxings, and since the unboxings don't get that many views, it's really no point for me to do commander or for me to do collectors or set boxes. So basically I'm just sticking with regular standard draft boxes for the foreseeable future, unless I get some sort of windfall. I bought 2 lottery tickets that didn't pan out, but we'll that's here nor there. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into click a few boxes. Hold on, we're getting some technical difficulty. There we go. All right, so these are last week we picked off with the what was it World Eaters. Yeah, so last week we did the Cultist. We showed the little 4 Cultists from Victoria Miniatures, and those are pretty cool. And then we I think it was like right after I made that video, I put these together Sunday, and last Sunday, and so we got the Red Butcher Terminators. They have Icon Wrath. They use it. Basically, I went through all my bits, and like even with some of the corn stuff I have, there's no real like, because an Icon of Wrath, they don't really explain what an Icon of Wrath is, and when you Google it, it's you got like a banner, like you like an old corn banner, and there's a lot of corn banners in Age of Sigmar, but I didn't want to go buy an Age of Sigmar kit, so I was just like, I'll just make a banner with some skulls on it, and so that works out. I did have someone give me some criticism or some feedback, more just feedback on that I should put more skulls on these Terminators, like put skulls all over them to make them look more corn. But I like the idea of them being like really just like from an ancient era and they're still in use. I do plan on like adding some rust effects to these guys, so I do plan on making them look older. But I didn't really want to add any skulls. I was gonna make like the eyes like really glowing or something. It's kind of, or like the lenses make it look really terrifying. But yeah, so we got those, and let's move on. I think we can click the box. All right, I just finished these Khorne Berserkers yesterday. These are the old style Khorne Berserkers. These are the old model kits. I made a time lapse video with my camera right here. I got my 4K camera sitting here. I had started recording a time lapse video. And one of the reasons why I definitely need a better setup than just this tripod, like a better angle, is for a portion of the video, my crotch is like in the film, like in the footage, and my fly is down, and I'm like, no. I was like, I can't use stop. One, I was like, I can't use stop motion with my crotch flying out, and also two, like, it wasn't that compelling to just watch someone put Khorne Berserkers together for 20 minutes, because that's what, like, I spent it up to 400%, but it was so long to put these together, because they're the old sculpts, and they have so many mold line problems. I was like, no, we're just not going to use that footage. I actually, I could have, like, scaled it a little bit to, like, focus on just the table, and I was thinking about that, but it was such a long video. And I was like, no, we're going to try to keep this a little shorter. But we got the first 10 Khorne Berserkers knocked out. The champion here on the right, he's got Kami Bolter from one of the... This doesn't look flat, but this is flat right there. Where is it? It's from the Tardos Terminator set. It's one of the Relic Terminators where we got the Kami Bolter and the Chain Axe. And then so it's 5 Chain Axes and 5 Chain Swords. and then bolt pistols, and I drilled out all the barrels and bolt pistols. And I think I kept all the helmets. There's that one crazy helmet where it looks like he's morphed into his helmet, where it looks like a crazy face in the helmet. I decided not to use those, because if I ever do use those heads, it'll be for like Corn Chosen or something along those lines, which I think would fit Chosen a little bit better. But yeah, so we got Icon of Wrath, just same thing. I just had this lying around. I think this is from Mark IV Space Marines, and it's been a while since I put together regular Space Marines, and these are basically the old sculpts on 32 mil bases, but they are the old Space Marines, and I am just not having fun with all this extra flashing, and I have 20 more to assemble, and my hands already cramping just thinking about it. But let's move on to the next one. Moving on over. So we threw Karn together last night. It's pretty quick to put together. I think it only took me maybe 15 minutes once I sat down and actually focused on it. Maybe 10. I was trying to do some homework in the middle of this. But yeah, he's on a 40 millimeter base, which I was interested. I was surprised. I wasn't sure he was on such a big base, but I think a lot of the HQs are now. And I can see a little mode line. I'm probably gonna go back and carve this down a little bit, or not, because they're really not that big of a deal. They're not like the thick honking mode lines on the Khorne Berserkers. Those were ridiculous. All right, moving on. But we got Karn here. I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna feel painting him, because I did a silver and gold color scheme for my Khorne, for my World Eaters, and so it's gonna be silver right here and then gold right here, and it's gonna be a bit annoying, but moving on. We got 2 Spawn. Now Spawn are weird, because I never put a Spawn kit together before, but I was like, I got 2 Spawn. I had some extra points, so I just threw 2 Spawn in there, and it's 2 bodies and then a bunch of possible accessories you can pick. So I kind of went a little tentacle spike heavy on this guy on the right, and there was a bunch of eyeballs that I had put on here, but I had to take them off because they looked weird. This eyeball thing, it looks all right, but this guy, a crushing claw. This is at first I thought it was his tongue, but it's like a goatee, and then a sword arm, like a man's arm with 2 swords coming out, and some spikes all over the back, and this little thing on the top. And I do not. So one thing I didn't like about these is I don't know if this is a problem of the manufacturing process, or maybe them sitting in a warehouse for a while. These legs didn't sit flush flat on the Mini, and normally at least the legs normally contact, and so I had to use some regular super glue, because the plastic glue, just as you see, the plastic glue just was not working, and so I used some regular super glue, got them pinned down, and they eventually worked. I think these guys will look cool. I'm not exactly sure I'm going to paint them. I think this guy's going to be a pain in the ass to paint because of how many claws I put on him, but I think it's going to work out pretty well. And you got a little human axe thing. I was thinking probably paint them. See where the human bits are, it's going to be kind of weird, but I think I'll just paint them all red. Just prime them all and then paint them all with probably paint them all red. Just have my 2 little balls of red corn, or gold. I like how there's a skull up here. But I do really like the Spawn. They were fun to put together. I put them together last night, and this looks like I did actually see this as a mold line, and then when I went to shape it, it's actually an optical illusion more than a mold line. It's kind of a mold line, but not really, and it's also very sharp for some weird reason. So I was just meh, we'll leave it there. So moving on over, and then so I started reading one of the Warhammer 40. So we'll backtrack a little bit. I was watching the movie Fahrenheit 451, the HBO Max with Michael B. Jordan, I believe it is. It's a really good movie, and I was compelled to go read right afterwards, and so I went and just was starting to read Angel on Fire, and then I was like, oh man, I kind of really want a Solar Lord Macarius model, and I knew that they were out of print. I knew they had long since out of print because they haven't had rules for Solar Lords since 3rd edition, I think it was. And I think in one of the editions, your opponent had to, sign off on, or had to agree to let you use the Solar Lord. But he wasn't even that, by modern standards, he wasn't that overpowered. But a modern version would be kind of cool. And I was like, man, I want to make one of these. So I was scouring around, looking around for different ways. I emailed GW and I was like, do you have, because they did a reprint, an on time or one time, or was it made to order, of this in metal in 2016. So I was like, hey, GW, do you guys have any, what was the term? It's like, I know this guy was reprinted in 2016. Do you have any left, anywhere? Like, do you have any, like, I'm assuming they probably have to have a couple left in the warehouse in Manchester and, is it Manchester? No. Is it? No, Nottingham, not Manchester. I'm getting apologies, I correct myself. Yeah, so I was like, they gotta have some lying around. But, it's a long shot. And they're like, no. Well, actually, no. And then I was like, or do you have any kit bash ideas? And they replied with, we are not allowed to discuss future product or possible future product releases. And we constantly are looking for the next thing. So we can't discuss it. And they mentioned nothing about possible kit bash options. They just were like, no, we don't want to talk about it. And I think it's just like a canned answer to get people to leave them alone. So I was talking around, I was asking people, and one of the guys who had this model, because they have some on eBay, and I think the last time I checked it was going for like $23 on eBay. There is a bunch of, like, if you type in Solar Lord Macarius right now, you will get a Soviet Union domain, like .su, so that's Soviet Union domain. You'll get a Soviet Union recast website, which I believe sells this in resin, and I'm like, I'm good. So I was just like, no, I'm fine. I don't need it that bad. But I was like, hey, we can kit bash this. So I was scouring through my bits, and so these two helmets right here come from the, I believe they do. Yeah. Well, no, hold on. One of them comes from, this one right here, comes from the Cities of Sigmar General on Griffin, so the Karl Franz kit on Griffin. This is the not Karl Franz helmet. This is like the generic General on Griffin, and I was going to use that helmet. This one, I believe, comes from the Demigrip Knights or one of the other. This is from one of the other Cities of Sigmar kit. This helmet, and it's got a little spike thing on the back, so yeah, I like the wings on it, but I didn't like the other spikes. And then, of course, this is also a great sword from Age of Sigmar. And then the rest of it, so these legs are from the Imperial Guard Command Squad. And then the rest of it is all from the, not the Cadian sprue, the Scion sprue, extra leftover Scion bits. Obviously, this is like a picture. So I use the stupid Instagram tool to like take 4 pictures and make a collage. And, of course, it makes a terrible collage, but anyways, this is what it is. So we got the inspiration, we got the bits. All right, I've explained the video enough. But this is what happened when we built it. And so this is how it turned out. We got ourselves, I was going to put them on a 32mm base, but I had these fancy resin, I think, where are they from? Hold on. Who makes these bases? So these resin base from MicroArt Studio. They're like tile. They got some leaves on them. I use these for my Valhallans? Yeah, Valhallans. So what we got here is we have the Blood Bowl model for the helmet with the eagle and the head and the torso, the upper torso. And then we took the Imperial Guard. This is a little bit of dust. Well, it's not on there, so apologies for a little dust. We took the Imperial Guard legs. We had to shave the crotch down a little bit to fit this little thing in there so they don't counteract, but shaved it down a little bit, fit it. He is standing a little taller. This belt right here, I thought this belt was the waistline belt, but if you look at the actual model from the Blood Bowl, this isn't a waistline belt. This is still above upper torso belt for the plate, for the little armor. And then, not perfect joining, but once it's painted, it'll look fine. So then we took the bolt pistol and a chain sword. And then for his staff, because in a few pictures he has a staff on his back, on the cover art for this, he has a power sword up here. And I was trying to use the power sword bit, but the power sword bit just didn't look right. It didn't fit right. 2, it didn't look right. And I didn't want to like macerate hands and try to make it fit. And so I just went with the original one, which is, this is supposed to be a chain sword and then bullet pistol. And he's got his walking stick. But I liked the idea of putting the walking stick on the back. And I was gonna put a cape on him, but actually he turns out so well. I decided he didn't need a cape. But it's got the little sash, it's got the little thing, and then we'll see some more pictures of the back. But this stick is the flagpole from the Scion flag, and then the top of the command rod from the Scion kit as well. And I had to put a pin in there, and I ruined one of them because the drill slipped, and so I had to snap off a second one. But I think he looks, and then we took a little knife from one of the Scion kits. And so if we look from the different angle, from the side angle, really nice action pose. I think it flows really well with the pants and capes and everything. And we got the plumage off the helmet. So the plumage, to me, acts like a really good cape, and I think it really fits very well. And from the back, I mean, he's got such a dynamic pose, and he fills up that 28 millimeter base really effectively. And is it 25 millimeter? Is it 25 millimeter? It might be 25 millimeter. Apologies if it might actually that's never mind. That is a 25 millimeter. Guard. I keep getting mixed up. So it's a 28 millimeter scale. That's a 25 millimeter wide base. All right, got it. But yeah, he fills up that base really well. Got a nice imposing stance with the plumage coming off the helmet, and I was able to slide the rod between the helmet and the back, and glue it right to the back of his armor. I could have made like a little string or some leather strapping, but I was like, no, I didn't want to like detract from like how nice the rest of the model flowed. And just with the chainsaw, just at that like back, and he's shooting the pistol and he's yelling. He just looks so good. And so right here, this little join part here on the picture, I cleaned this up after I took the picture. So, and we also cleaned up this part right here. So it's we sanded it down a little bit. We fixed it up. So he will look a lot nicer when he is all painted up, and we are good to go. But that is my Kit Bash Solar Lord Markarius. That is what I've been doing for the last week, and we are working on some more. Probably going to put some Raptors together, maybe try to get some more Khorne Berserkers knocked out on the hobby table. But it is 109. It's supposed to be 111 today, and I'm staying inside. We're staying cool, staying out of the heat. And although I may or may not, I really want some ice cream or something, but I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I'm trying not to leave my house. Anyways, that's been me for the hobby week, and I hope you guys are having a great hobby time as well, and see you around, and have a good one. Goodbye.